JOC recently reported that you downgraded your imports forecast, specifically containerized imports, for the rest of 2011 and the full year 2012. I'd like to ask you specifically about how home sales and sales of home goods, which are dependent on imports, are still suffering and affecting import numbers, and what you see happening here.
Yeah, the housing market has a tremendous influence on U.S. containerized imports. When you buy a home, you tend to furnish it with home goods such as appliances, refrigerator, washer, dryers, and also you buy furniture. So that generates a consumer spending there, and most of these items are imported, particularly from Asia. So also the number one import commodity is in the containerized trade is furniture. Furniture accounts for at least 10% of the overall U.S. containerized imports. It's a pretty big deal. And at the present time, the housing market is very weak. It's bouncing along the bottom. Home sales are falling, home prices continue to come down, and home foreclosures are rising. So that has a negative impact on imports growth, because I've seen TEU volumes of furniture falling, sheets, towels, and blankets also falling, declining volumes of lamps, laundry machines, refrigerators, ceramic tiles. All of these things that are house related are falling. So for the rest of 2011, I expect more of the same. The housing market will remain weak, and even in 2012, it will still be sluggish. That is because jobs are not being created fast enough. On the import side, my expectation is that for the third quarter, imports will actually fall by at least 0.5%, but then rise in the fourth quarter by about 1%. And for 2012, I expect that imports will grow by just about 4% to 4.5%. I downgraded the 2012 forecast from about 6% to 4.5%, because one of the key factors is because of weak prospects for the housing market going forward.
And in terms of containerized imports, how have the Japan disasters, which took place 6 months ago this week, both the earthquake and the tsunami, how are they still impacting containerized imports, if at all?
The input has nearly dissipated by now. We have our exposure to Japanese exports is in auto parts and electronics mainly, and auto parts imports actually fell in April. On a month-to-month basis, it fell by about 22%. That's because of the supply chain disruptions there. But in May, auto parts imports rebounded with just about 7%. So it was a very anemic rebound. Then it fell again in June, but then we had a good rebound in July for nearly 30% growth there. So, which tells me that the impact, the adverse effects of the supply chain disruptions in Japan are basically faded away, and that's actually corroborated by the latest industrial production numbers, the July report that said that motor vehicle production rose in July for the first time after 3 consecutive monthly declines. So if motor vehicle production is growing, that's because they're getting the parts. They're getting the parts from Japan, and they're getting the parts from other providers too. So at the present time, I think it's almost the negative effects from the supply chain disruption are almost just faded, basically over there. So.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your time today, Mario.
Thank you.